Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer and today we're taking a look at Dacic. Either way, it is a 32-bit Trojan, which keeps in line with most of the videos here being 32-bit Trojans. We take a look over here. I have created a folder for the malware and the MD5 file. I know some of you like to either follow along with the video or analyze it afterwards. So here is your MD5 for the video. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and open this in VirusTotal. And of course, it's going to make me do this. It has to happen once per video because they just love to believe that I'm a robot for some reason. Never happens in my host environment, but whatever. And here we see that it has 29 out of 73 detections, and I was actually the first one to run this through VirusTotal, so I thought I had malware all to myself for a video. But then, of course, after my testing outside of the video, Jaffa's here and Anyren is here. She can't let me have anything. So who is detecting this malware? We have AVG, Bitdefender, it's about time you started pulling your weight, ClamAV, MZSoft, Google, ESET. Where's Kaspersky? Where's Kaspersky? Oh! Okay. That's... wow. Huh. I'll definitely be submitting this to them after the video then. I think I said GData already. Microsoft, surprisingly even Panda, Malwarebytes, and that seems to be it. Who's not detecting it? Avira, CrowdStrike Falcon, who else? Quick Heal, it's not a big name. McAfee, and... you know what? Where's Symantec? Oh, Symantec did detect it. Interesting. Those are really the only big names that aren't. So if we go to details, here is your MD5, here's your SHA-1, and here's your SHA-256. Creation time was today at 12:27, and first submission and analysis was... it says first submission was 20 minutes ago, and the last submission, God brain, was 7 minutes ago, which both was me. Alright, that's all we need to take a look at there. Relations, we have one contacted URL, which has not been scanned yet. We do have two contacted domains, and I mean, you could just assume that this is going to be the C2. We have 5 contacted IP addresses. We have this one based out of Russia, which I'm almost certain is going to be our 20vd20ht.top. And we have 3 other IP addresses that are contacted but seem to be okay. And then we have Google DNS's server here. Not sure why that has a detection. I did take a look at it. I think it was Max Secure that detected this. It was Cybele. Okay, don't let me throw shade on Max Secure's name, but Cybele detects Google's DNS server as malicious. So do it as you will. We have 18 bundled files. Only one of them had been scanned and the rest have not. The one that was scanned seems to be okay, but it's an ISO image. And if we go to behavior, we never spend much time on behavior, but I do look at this just in case you're curious. We have 1 high and 2 low crowdsourced IDS rules. Okay. And then, of course, the community, Jaffa, and Anyren have been here. Now we're going to show the tools that we have open for the video. We have Process Hacker, Wireshark, Fiddler Classic, and Process Monitor. Without any further ado, the last thing we're going to do before we run the malware is we're going to take a look at the properties. So if we look over here, and we see there's no certificate, if we go to details, there's absolutely no information here. They didn't even try to hide it. If you're looking at the details, now you can start to be a little suspicious, if you weren't suspicious of the name already. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and run the malware. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Yeah, I want to do that. And we can see that it does open over here. And it's not using much CPU, and there it goes. It's starting to use a little bit. It is, oh, now it's starting to use a lot more. And it's slowly starting to use less and then more RAM as well. Is it opening any any suspicious things up here? Not that I can tell right off the bat. Okay. Now it's starting to use a lot of CPU. So this is where I imagine it would start reaching out to those C2 servers. Nothing in HTTP. But if we look over here, we have a lot of retransmissions for TCP. And we have a lot of connections. Oh, there is HTTP. Oh, and now we have service 123.exe. Interesting. That was the wrong one. I didn't mean to open properties. Open file location. And it is in the temp directory. Okay, so I'm going to move that here. We do have some HTTP that apparently Fiddler's just not picking up. But that's why we have Wireshark. So we do have 6 HTTP connections. We have an upload.php, a upload.php again. It just looks like 3 connections to the same source IP address. And if I look, I'm certain this is going to be our C2. Let's go to relations, and yeah, that's the exact same IP address. I already knew it was, and I'm sure this is going to lead to that venti.top. But I'm also going to go ahead and type in the IP address. So let's go to Wireshark so I can see what I'm doing. 194.87.248.136. 503 service unavailable. No server is available to handle this request. Right then. Well, let's just go ahead and scan this in VirusTotal as soon as it decides it wants to work. It's probably scanning in the background. And service 123 is not shutting down, which is interesting. So it looks like this is going to stay resident in memory. And yeah, I was the very first one to scan the beginning file, the service 123, and now this website. But of course, Jaffa has to make herself known. For anybody that's not aware, Jaffa Cake's comments and the vast majority of comments on these things are actually automated. So I don't actually have a problem with Jaffa. I do know her from a different Discord server. She's pretty chill. I just like to poke fun. Okay, and after scanning, we have Fortinet, Gridinsoft, and Netcraft detecting it as malicious, and TrustWave detecting it as suspicious. Right now, it's giving an error 404, but that can't be right because we literally just accessed it from our own computer. Not me, but the malware did communicate, and it's communicating still. That might have been me. That might have been me with a 503 service unavailable. Okay. So it's not letting me connect, but it is allowing the malware to communicate with that IP address and that website. So if we go back, the next thing we're going to do is take a look at services or service.exe. So let's move this over here. I said let's move this over here. Of course you're going to be like this. Okay. Choose file. We're going to go to... I need to do this a different way first. We need to go to view. Oh, there it is. It worked. 300 megabytes. So yeah, I thought it was going to upload all over again, but it took me 10 minutes to analyze this because it's 300 megs. Most likely the reason that makes it this big is so that when people try to scan it, or like antivirus software tries to scan it, it'll usually skip it because of the large size. But that hasn't worked in as long as I can remember. So who's detecting this? This comes as Zusi/loader for the popular threat label. Bitdefender once again. And Kaspersky is still not here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to forward both of these programs and the C2 to Kaspersky, just so they can be aware of it. Alright, and who else is detecting this? Google, GData. Not many big companies. We already saw Bitdefender. AVG, Avast. Okay. And if we go to details, not many details, all things considered. We can't see what it's communicating with, if it's communicating with anything. It may not be. But I feel like the reason that it's not showing as much information is because of the file size. But let's take a look at our friend process monitor. So we're going to add two filters. We're going to do operation is create file. And then we're going to do not PID. We're going to do process name is. And then I'm going to have to copy the name because I'm not typing a lot. Copy and paste and enter and yes. And now Vivate. Not many events, so it shouldn't take too long. And here we go. So here's the prefetch file, which it did delete on its own. Deleted while 64log.dll. Win32.Trojan.Dacic. webio.dll. iphlpoppy.dll. winlsres.dll. Okay, so it looks like just a bunch of DLL files. Newsock, Wishcos, we've seen these before. I'm not seeing one that I haven't seen so far. But if we keep taking a look... Okay, it looks like it's going through some browsers. It's going through Firefox and the Tor browser. Okay. Some more DLLs that were deleted. GDI plus.dll.mun, dpoppy, cryptbase, we've seen that before. Yeah, these are just a bunch of DLLs that have been seen on the channel before. Not anything too suspicious. Yeah, this is just a bunch of DLLs. We're not going to be able to glean much from this. But we do have another file that we can analyze. So let's go back. We're going to go to filter. Process name is service123.exe. Okay, yes. And Vivate. Okay, less events here. So it looks to be about more of the same. Cryptbase, WoW64log, cryptbase again, cryptbase. Okay. Is there anything with something that could be indicating persistence? Not seeing anything like that. Not as of right now, anyway. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that indicates persistence. So, it's not a persistent Trojan, but I'm assuming the damage would already be done by the time you run the computer or run the malware and then restart the computer. Fair enough. Alright, and Fiddler is working now, but it's not detecting those connections. I don't know why, because it's in HTTP traffic. Let's go back here, and service unavailable. Now, I didn't try to connect again. That is something I didn't do. I did not try to reconnect to that IP address. Is this another case of... And I hope I'm wrong, and I probably am, but is this another case of the C2 shutting down during recording? Because it's happened once already. Let's get rid of the HTTP tag. We're still getting a lot of retransmission packets from what I can see. We keep scrolling down. We've just got a bunch of oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we're starting to get some stuff. So this is from... Is that the same IP? These are new IPs. Wait a minute. Let's go back to the original file and run this in here and go to relations. Okay. These are 142s. And that's not in the IP address list. I'm just going to try typing it in really quick. I'm sure none of these are going to give me any information, but it doesn't hurt to try. 142.251.163.94. That takes me to Google. 142.251.169.4. Google. Okay, I feel like all these should take me to Google. 142.251.167.97. Okay. Fair enough. Can't let me have anything. And then... Yeah, this is where all of the black and red ones were at. And then more blacks. 341171215 3. A bunch of 3-4s. TCP retransmissions. I guess not necessarily suspicious on its own, but definitely something piquing my interest. This is just, oh no, this isn't just ARP in BNS. 104.76.210.90. Okay, I'm not gonna look at all of these, but I am curious. 104.76.210.90. The requested URL, new URL is invalid. Uh-huh. I see. Okay. Again, not necessarily suspicious on its own, but I did just want to take a look at it. Okay, we keep getting TCP retransmissions from these 3.4s, so I'm just going to take a look at one of them. 3.4.120.208.123. Aha! And that brings us to a web page with no information. So if I put that through here, it's not detected by anything. I'm going to run that through Whois. I wonder if this is another case of Google Cloud. Possible. And it's Google. And it's Google Cloud customers. Interesting, because we've been getting a lot of these TCP retransmissions from these 3.4 IPs. Something to keep in mind. Here's your ARPAN in BNS. That's nothing to worry about. We've got more connections. This one's an HTTP, but that's also probably just a certificate authority. Yeah, it is. Okay. So nothing suspicious there. And it looks like that's going to be about all that we can glean from this. 18431. I'm going to run these IPs on VirusTotal through Wireshark as well to see if we can get any other information. I already did this once this video, didn't I? Oh crap, I misclicked. Relations 184 doesn't show up there. Okay, let's try this one. IP address equals this. No connections. IP address equals this. No connections. And IP address equals this with no connections. Okay. It does have two dropped files. Apparently it has this DLL. I didn't see that DLL. Does that still exist? Let's find out. Let's go to Process Hacker. Get out of the way. Or not Process Hacker. Process Monitor. And we're going to do one more thing before we close this out. So let's go back to Filter. Process name is this. Yes. And is there anything created by this DLL? I'm sure there's not. No. Okay, so let's remove the create file filter, because that was a silly gambit anyway. I'm going to remove, or not, no. Dang it, quit that. Can't you see I'm busy here? Alright, one more try. Just process name is that DLL. That DLL, of course, it's not going to work all of a sudden. Why is this not working? Hello? Copy. Paste. Okay. CSGUAKIGSSBLNAQUYHCR. I messed that up, didn't I? CSGUAKIGSSBLNAQUYHCR.dll. Looks like I still messed that up somehow. I probably did. Why isn't it letting me copy it now? It let me copy this the first time, and now it's not letting me copy it again. And now it works. Wonderful. Okay. Add. Okay. And nothing. Okay. Fair enough. Well, I believe we've taken a look at everything possible for us to do so in dynamic analysis, so this is where I'm going to end out the video. Actually, one more thing. It didn't let us connect to the IP. Not found. Uh-huh. Huh? Okay, wait a minute. So I put in the domain and it gave me this IP address. I wonder if, and this is a huge if, I could be wrong, but I wonder if the original IP did go down. Connection refused. So I wonder if this one did go down and it's going to start routing traffic to this IP address. I'm going to run it through Wireshark, but I doubt it's going to show anything. No. No displayed packets. If we start again, and right now it's not detecting anything because the damage has already been done. Interesting. But that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys for showing up. If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to subscribe and leave a comment if there's something I didn't do that you want to see for future videos. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, you guys are amazing, and I will see you in the next one.